So now for that generated link model, let's in the shared component only, let's create a new component. What is happening? Add new razor component and let's call it generated link modal. Add this. We are here. So in here, the actual thing, or maybe let's copy that that thing from maybe short URL generator form. So this modal, we need to copy this because this is the thing we are going to add in this generated link modal. So here we have this modal, then this title, short URL generated, this is fine. Now the short URL, this does not exist here. So we'll have a property here of type string. We'll say short URL and this needs to be a parameter and editor required because this thing is needed for this component. So here and on close, if we set it true or false, that is not going to make any difference because the displaying of this component, this is being controlled by its parent. So we need to just notify the parent then that user has clicked on this thing. So that means this on close, we need to have one event callback the same way we are having inside this modal. So we'll have public event callback on close and then same parameter and editor required, and on this on close we will simply call this on close event callback, and now we are good. We just need to design this thing. So now what we'll do, we'll say div class, inside this let's have one p. Here we'll say your short URL has been generated successfully. All right, then let's have one more p tag here. Here we'll say click the button below to copy the short URL. Copy the generated short URL. All right, and after this we are going to display the short URL. So here we can have multiple the UI design is up to you, but however you are designing, but let's use this as a text field mb3, and here I'll say input type text, class form control, and I'll add read only, and on this value is going to be our short URL. Alright, so it will be displayed in read only mode, and after that we need to have two buttons. One is for close and one is for copy the generated short URL. Now if you remember, in the modal we have two things. If we are not show footer is by default true. If that is true, then it will come here, and when it comes here, then it checks if footer content this HTML is provided. If not, then it will use simple single button. So we need this section in this case because we need two different buttons, right? So we'll use this thing. Okay, so let's come here. Now we need this thing. That means we need to provide footer content, which is a render fragment. So we need to tell it that we want footer content here. Now there is one case, if we have multiple render fragments in a component, and if we do not provide any named render fragment, then the default HTML text which we add inside the custom component, all this goes to child content render fragment. Now if we explicitly set footer content or any other render fragment parameter, then we need to change the first one to use the child content explicitly, like this. Okay, so child content, which is in this modal component, this child content, and then show footer is this one, show content, footer content. So here first thing I'll have div class, let's say display flags, justify content center, not center, between, so that both of these buttons will be on each edge, left and right, each corner. And then align items center, so that vertically centered buttons. All right, inside this I'm going to have two buttons. One button is going to be this similar button, this button secondary, on close, and here we'll say close or cancel. Okay, or maybe let's say close. Now we want to have one more button here, and that button should be of type btn main, our main colors button. On click, we'll see what we are going to do on this, but we will have this copy text here. Now whenever we are clicking on this copy, let's have that on click back, we'll say copy async, this method. Let's define this method here. So we'll say private async task copy async, and we'll add our logic here. Alright, so I guess everything is looking great now. Okay, now we need to have this copy logic, and that will require JavaScript. So before doing that, let's check this component out. But before that, when we click on this copy, we will change its text to something else, let's say copied, and then after 1 or 2 seconds we'll change it back to copy. So we need this also as a dynamic field here. So here we'll say private string, we'll say underscore copy btn text, which is by default copy. Let's use this text here, and now when we click on copy, then it will come here. Here we are going to have our logic, we'll say logic to, or maybe JavaScript, call js to copy to clipboard. After that, we will set this copy btn text to copied, then we'll wait for 2 seconds, and then we'll change this button's text back to copy. All right, let's quickly check if it is working. So save it and run it. Oh, sorry, we have not used this, right? We need to use this generated link modal form. Let's stop it, and we need to use this. So let's go to short URL generator form first. Here, instead of doing all this, we'll simply use that generated link modal. And on this, if we see, we need to provide short URL and on close. All right. So for short URL, we'll provide underscore short URL, and for on close, we'll simply say underscore short URL equals null. Now we can copy this. We can go to our after login action, and here also we have these things. We can simply remove this and use this generated link modal. So save everything and let's quickly run it. It is coming. Let's try it out. Some URL shorten, and we are here. Let it call this, and we have this. We have these two buttons, close and copy. If we click on copy, button text changes to copied and then back to copy. You see? Alright, so this is looking a bit better, but this close button, this should go to the very left, but that is not what we are seeing right now. So let's see what is the issue. Okay, we have everything. Modal footer is already display flags. Okay, so we can try different approaches. First thing, we can add this justify content center, align item center on this modal footer, or if we don't want to do that, then we have maybe inside this we can have w100, which is width 100%, so that this is content is 100%, and then we have display flags on this div, and then we have this thing. Okay, there could be multiple approaches. Another approach could be we can directly have these buttons inside modal footer, and then we can provide maybe margin and auto on the first button, or maybe margin start auto on the second button. So there could be different approaches, but this requires minimal effort. So let's do this. On these buttons we'll say w100 on the wrapper of these buttons, and apart from this everything looks great. So let's try it out from this page when we already logged in. Shorten URL, and here also it looks good and it comes with all this, right? Let's quickly add that CSS class, generated link modal. Here we'll say w100, which is width 100%. All right. Now when we have this ready, now we can work on this copy async functionality. Okay, so for this it needs JavaScript. So let's create a JavaScript function, and we might need other JavaScript. I don't remember if we need, but let's assume we are going to have it. So inside www root folder in main project, I'm going to add one new file. Let's say app.js, the global JavaScript, whatever we need. Here I'm going to create a function on this window object. Let's say copy to clipboard, so that we can access it from anywhere. On this I'll say async function, and we can say data to copy or text to copy. Okay, or instead of this we can say async, and then we can make it the arrow function like this. All right, now inside this let's have try catch, and then we will have navigator, which is a browser's API, and on this navigator we have clipboard. Okay, and on this clipboard we have couple of methods. First is write, and then write text. So we are having text, so we'll use this write text method. If you see, it returns promise, which is task in our C#.NET language. So it returns task without any return type parameter, so just task. That's why we are having this as async, and we can apply await here. So write text, and here we can provide our text to copy, and now we are good. Now if something does not work, we have this error here. We can do whatever we want, but go to log it. So console.error, and here we can define this, that something bad happened, something like this. So here we'll say, yeah, maybe do this, error while copying to clipboard, and then error will provide this error like this, and we are good now. Now we can use this window.copy to clipboard from anywhere in our application, but before that we need to add this app.js to our app.razor page. So in the components in app.razor, this is the main HTML page which has all our head and main JavaScript. So here only we'll add this app.js without this tilde and slash. Okay, because for Blazor it uses this base href, so we can't have the tilde and all that. So now we have added this app.js. Now we are good to use it. Let's go to our generated link modal, and from here we can copy that. Now in order to use JavaScript, on any Blazor component, we need to inject IJS runtime. Okay, so we'll call it JS runtime only. And now inside this copy async, we'll say await JS runtime dot invoke void async, because it does not return anything, the name of the method, which is window dot copy to clipboard, and then the parameter to this function. So the parameter is short URL. So save it, and now we are good. Let's quickly try it out. It's here. Let's first log in, and this time let's use pwd@123. Let's use this remember me option so that we don't need to log in again and again. Now we are good. Let's try this URL only, paste it, shorten it, copy, and nothing is happening. Let's go to the console. Do we have any error? No, there is no error. If we try to paste, allow pasting. If we try to paste, you see IBNDIF, IBNDIF, this thing is working. That means copy to clipboard functionality worked, but this text is not changing. Now this is the fundamental Blazor concept. So this time it worked. So the thing here is why this is not changing. That is, if we go to our code, and here how the Blazor change tracking works, if we are in any method and whatever whatever state we have changed, after that if we have hit first await, then it is going to change or apply all those things. But after that again, if we have after first await, it goes to directly, then it is going to update the state when this the execution flow leaves this method. That means first change tracking will work here, and after that it will work directly here. So inside this, it is not going to track any change, it is not going to re-render. Now we have some scenarios. For example, this one, we need to tell it that you need to re-render here and then at the very end. So for this one, when we are saying re-render after this, we can explicitly tell Blazor that you need to re-render. So we'll say state has changed. We are telling Blazor that state has changed, that whatever internal state we have on this component that has changed, you need to re-render. So now when it is going to re-render, it will check now underscore copy btn text is changed to copied. So it will simply re-render this. It will change this text. Let's try it out. So I'm running it. It's here. This time it is already logged in. Let's do this. Shorten URL, copy. You see it changed to copied and then back to copy, copied and then back to copy. All right. So now if I paste whatever I have copied, this WLIU3C, this should be here. So if I paste it, WLIU3C, that means this thing is working. All right. So our JavaScript interop is ready. I guess this is the only JavaScript, custom JavaScript we need for this entire application, right? All right. So save it, and now we are good with this generated link modal as well. Okay. Now we can start working on other parts of the application, maybe post login. Now we'll work on my links page. All right.